Welcome to episode number 24 of the Fusco Auto Campaign and Automation. The last episode ended on a bit of a cliffhanger with the new V8 being done and ready to be put into production. Well, not really into production, be adapted and then put into production, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I will be making a street version of it. I think I can go to 95 fuel, and that already gives a lot of power. The exhaust is alright, it's very quiet. A little more boost wouldn't hurt, I think. Some more turbo quality. Yeah, 460 would be a very nice value for something like this. And now I am going to be making a performance version. And I think 606 horsepower is more than enough. I've changed the intake to a performance one, so this way it can rev a lot higher, so it has that true sports car feel. You don't get just a wall of torque. Even if there's a wall, you do have to rev it out for that power. It's not as brutal. And these new V8 engines shall be under the bonnet of the new LL series, the replacement for the LL platform, of course the GT car, the SL as well. This is the body I'm picking, and it gets all the good stuff. It's going to be all-wheel drive to put down all that power, a lot of quality on the gearbox and the differentials as well to handle that power. I can get the luxury infotainment, the highest available right now. In fact, I can make it a bit heavier for more comfort, and the suspension is going to be standard besides the adaptive dampeners. Looking at the stats of this in the end says that it's slightly better than the competition now, but in 4 or 5 years when it releases it will be about the same. So it should be good in terms of what it's made up of. So I just hope that new marketing will help me sell, because right now it's not looking so good. Maybe I'll decrease it by 5,000. For the design I went with something more minimalist. It will release in 2013, 2014. I think this will suit the time. Also added a nice light bar there. I know some people would want more stuff on it, but this body really lends itself to clean designs like this. After all, this is the era where they started cleaning up designs more and more. And I've also got a 3-liter version with a V6, the 300 horsepower V6, and instead of the luxury entertainment it has the premium one and rear-wheel drive only, just to make something cheaper. And a brand new segment I'm thinking of making is a luxury SUV based on this platform, because around this time it became obvious that these were in demand. So we've got the SUV version of this body. I'll probably change a lot of the design on the outside, and the stats are looking pretty good, very nice in fact. I've gone for a less, so to say, clean design on the SUV, which I'll call the XL series. The grille has some horizontal stripes to make it look quote-unquote more aggressive. Also a stripe on the side to break up the big flat surface, and some trimming on the rear as well. And I've made the detail here with a split tailgate. The SUV also gets a version with the 3-liter V6. This one has 5 seats instead of 4, so it's less luxurious. It's more of a premium family hauler, so to say. Still has luxury interior, but not the private jet cabin And the last car I'm going to be making on this platform is a replacement for the SL, so the luxurious Grand Tourer. Thankfully this body has a full rear seat available in the coupe version, so you don't have to deal with the +2 seats which kill your comfort. Everything will remain absolutely the same with the running gear, but I'll go for rear-wheel drive to make it more sporty, and sport tires. And all this needs now is maybe wider wheels at the rear to handle the power because it's rear-wheel drive, and a good redesign. Looks like this has got a very nice 277% desirability in Grand Touring. I've tried to make it look a bit more curvaceous to have some elegant shapes like a Grand Tourer. For this I've used more curved headlights, round lights inside them, and also some molding on the side that goes a bit better with the body lines, like this element here that lines up with the arches, and these more artistic rear lights with the silver accents. If I zoom in, this goes from narrow to wide, so opposite to this element. Lots of little touches, also new diffuser in the rear, a wing that goes along with the lines of the body. And I've also made this version of the SL, the V version, which has a 610 horsepower V8. However, this 600 horsepower engine needs a better car to sit in, and this is where this will come in. I think it's time to finally make a supercar as we're getting close to the end of the series. Of course, it'll be branded as a Dolce Vita car, and to make it truly unique, it's going to be all made of carbon fiber. It's going to be super light, mid-engine. As for the suspension, I will just choose double wishbone because I have familiarity. This car is all about the carbon fiber and being light, and I guess the double wishbone will do. Maybe +1 quality, I don't know if I can afford that. Yeah, I think I'll be going with all-wheel drive to put all that power down, and going with an automated manual transmission. At this point, they didn't suck as much. It's going to come out in 2013-2014. 7-speed to keep it somewhat simple. The reason I'm not going for a dual clutch is that the dual clutch is heavier and also more fragile despite its better performances, and you get about 100 less kilograms, and in a car like this every kilo is important. With all the fine-tuning out of the way, I've actually driven this supercar in beamng to make sure it's just right, because at high speeds in such a light car, every little bit of handling will matter. Get ready to see the most beautiful car in this campaign. I think you'll agree when you see it. It takes elements from the previous designs but also put on a supercar body with its own twists. Now, this is actually the first non-front engine car I've ever made in this campaign. I've added a functional air vent in the front. If you look at it with FreeCam, you'll see that it's an actual hole into the car, and I've made it to mimic a front wing, a hood scoop that acts like a front wing. So this car is pretty much a race car, very light, 1200 kilos for 600 horsepower. Got all the downforce, all the sexy looks, great power to weight ratio. Oh, and it only uses 11 liters per 100 kilometers. I also made the convertible version because in automation, convertible supercars usually sell a lot better than fixed roof ones. I think the convertible will add at least a third or 50% more sales, so it's worth making it and producing it. And all of this I've put into a small factory. Actually, I mean tiny factory, because estimated sales are like 30 or 40 per month, so it's not a lot. And after all of this hard planning, making every little car, every little platform, I finally get to reap the rewards and press that big sign off button. and I'll just let the time run until they finish engineering, then test them out. To end of the episode, I'll be test driving all these nice new cars on the west coast with a beautiful sunset in the background. First up, the LL, the luxury sedan. All of these have the same V8. The first two have the 450 horsepower version of it. The last two have the 600 horsepower one. And sadly, the automatic transmissions aren't so good when exported from automation. And the medium tires are really showing their limits here. But you need them to get that comfort and automation. Beautiful sunset again as I climb up this hill. A bit of understeer here, maybe this got all-wheel drive. The speed is more than enough for a cruiser, for something to be carried in. The power here is sufficient, so if I do not drive it like a sports car, I can really take in the scenery with this. Oh, and if you don't push it, the performance is really adequate, and you've always got more than enough. And the speed is actually pretty seamless. There's no drama to it as well, you just push it and go. So this would be a very good highway cruiser. Just like I can demonstrate here. I'll just put my foot down and see when I start noticing I'm going too fast. Okay, I think it's about now, and oh no, I'm about to crash. This understeer may be a bit too much, but to go to 140 and not really notice, that's pretty good, I'd say. And of course, we've got this new modern, sleek, and clean design. And I think the braking is alright. So you have sports car performance, just remember that it understeers. But if you want something that handles even worse, but you do get some space, we've got the XL series. This is the top V8 model SUV. Let's test it on the same road. It definitely is more imposing, so to say, because for the sedan I went for a clean look, this one for a more loaded, aggressive one, because that's what this requires one, of course. Okay, suspension is a bit softer. Getting some mad skids in here. But I think with the handling, it's alright, especially for something a lot taller and has probably 100 or 200 extra kilos. I know that these luxury big SUV tanks aren't a lot of people's taste if you're really into cars and watching this, so I'm going to spare it to drive and switch it over to the SL series, the Grand Tourer. This has the 600 horsepower engine as the Extaz supercar right next to it, but its rear-wheel drive weighs a lot more. also has a bit less muffling to let you take that sound in, and this is, yeah, this is totally another car. Even if it's on the same platform, its character has completely changed. Got the wild engine, less understeer because there's no all-wheel drive. So for a grand tour and on a canyon like this, you do have to wait for the turbo to spool up to hit that 600 horsepower. But you know, it's fun like this to try and tame the beast. Reminds me of how AMG cars are described, which would be suitable for this because the normal version has a 450 horsepower engine, but this is the V version, the crazy one, and it's supposed to be not that sensible, but it fits my image of what it would be. A big luxury coupe that's also angry. And because we have a car like this, we can just park anywhere. We don't care about parking fines. Now I'm leaving the best for the last. The best car I've made in this campaign, and probably will, the Dolce Vita Extase. It's got the same 600 horsepower engine as the last car I've driven, but now it's a lot lighter, has all-wheel drive. I can already feel how much better it is. Now it just goes like that. It's in another league. You'd forgive for thinking it's electric because it goes like that and it has this response. Yeah, it spools a lot faster because now it has traction, and the throttle is a lot more linear thanks to this chassis, and it's so playful. I think we're taking it to the track. Yeah, I've done this in the other cars. It's also got some downforce. It's going to drive everywhere. This is a great driver's car. Very compliant around these corners. And for the racetrack test, very great braking again thanks to the light body, so having a full carbon fiber construction allowed me to focus on what's important, and now everything works great. Granted, the engine is also itself very powerful, but this unlocked better braking, probably better cornering as well. And this is the chassis the 600 horsepower engine deserves. Yup, like a dream. The car almost disappears underneath you, but it's got that Italian character where sometimes it likes to slide over the all-wheel drive because quite a lot of car is to the rear. And this car is pretty difficult in a lot of cars. Sports car without a dose of oversteer and code brown. As expected was also because it was uphill. This track really brings out everything out of your cars. So, for example, if you are stable in another section, you can understeer somewhere else. But here, steer is good. But the trade-off of not handling so good in other sections. take this car on a mountain road just to see how it does in the real world when driving in a spirited manner. Again, Excel series. Oh, really good brakes. I thought I was gonna crash there. A bit playful. Perfect turning, perfect turning. This really passes the canyon road test. And it may not be super optimal for the track, sometimes it's not stable, but on the road, in the real world, everything here is for the driver's enjoyment. It's so easy to drive and approach, but it's so potent. And on this very high note, I think it's time to end the episode and see you next time for what is going to be the last episode of the campaign.